also envision it more of like a tea party, I guess, like a pink and green pickleball kit. That would be so cute. I would love a little painted wood. Have I said Mod Podge enough? I don't know. Hello and welcome, or welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you are doing well. One of my 2026 goals is to host more, specifically to host my friends more for little crafty hobby nights. And I was sitting here planning my first one, which I'm hoping, fingers crossed, will be in late February, kind of running through some different ideas. And I thought with Galentines coming up, you might be hosting your friends too. So why not share these ideas with you? I have, let me see. I have 10 ideas here and I love all of them. I am torn between 3 for my own hobby night, which I'll tell you which 3 at the end. But I figure we'll just jump right in and I'll share them all with you. I do have a few requirements for my hobby night ideas, which kind of determines what hobby, craft, activity, whatever we do. The first requirement is that it does not require a lot of setup. I don't want to be spending 6 hours setting up a craft or activity that we'll be doing for 3. So I'm looking at like 30 to 45 minutes max of setup time. The second one is that it is not super messy. I want guests to be able to eat snacks. I'd like to put out like some chips or cookies or like little sandwiches. I want people to feel like they can eat and chat and pick up their phone and take a photo. I don't want anyone to have to like wash their hands or wipe your hands off in order to do any of those things. So that does rule out a few activities. My third requirement is that everyone will leave with a finished item at the end of the night. So there's no bringing it home and finishing it home. I mean, if you want to do more at home, obviously you can, but I want everyone to leave with like a completed item. There's no like, oh, it has to dry for a few days, so come back to my apartment and pick it up next weekend. None of that. Like, they will be leaving with whatever activity we did. My fourth requirement is that you can chat during it. It doesn't require a ton of intense focus, maybe 5 to 10 minutes of intense focus here and there, fine. But I want everyone to be able to converse and enjoy the night and have fun, both with who they're with and with what they're doing. And then my last requirement is that it does not cost a ton per person. That is determined by you and your budget, especially if you are footing the bill, or that can be determined by the group if everyone will be paying for like their portion of it. My first idea is a scrapbooking or junk journaling night. Now, junk journaling is probably on the cheaper end in terms of cost, whereas scrapbooking is definitely on the more expensive end. For junk journaling, you could put out old magazines, you could print things off online that could be considered junk. Pinterest has a ton. If you just type in like junk journal, clip art or whatever, like you can print stuff out if given enough advanced notice. You could also ask guests to save and bring things throughout the month that they might want to put in their junk journal. So that could be fortunes from a fortune cookie, that could be business cards from like a restaurant they really liked that they went to, it could be a coffee sleeve from a coffee shop they really like, it could be printed photos of a coffee or a meal that they took. Different things. So many different things you can put in your junk journal. And I think junk journals are a little like messier, a little less organized. So I think if you are a bit more of like a chaotic, free-spirited group, a junk journal might be more your speed. And as for things the host might need to buy or provide, I think it would just be journals, which you could get composition books. You could get, I've seen people do like ring-bound books that you can buy on Amazon. And then like tape or glue. I really like scrapbooking tape, which comes in these little, I'll put a picture on the screen, like they're these little things that you just roll over the page or the item and stick it down, and it's great. Similar to junk journaling is scrapbooking. Scrapbooking is probably the most expensive idea on this list, and this is one that I would ask everyone who is going or who you are inviting if they could see themselves continuing to scrapbook, or if they might want to make like a scrapbooking club, because I think there's a lot of time and money that can go into scrapbooking. So things you might need to buy for a scrapbook night are scrapbooks for everyone, which can run like maybe 15 to 20 bucks on average. And that can add up quickly. If you're having like 5 or 6 girls, you're looking at $100, $120 for scrapbooks just on the books themselves. And then you would need scrapbooking paper, you would need stickers, the scrapbooking tape, all of those different things. So it can really add up. All guests would have to do is bring their own photos, maybe 10 to 30 photos in groups of like 3 to 6, 3 to 7, that kind of go together so they could make a full page layout of those photos. I think one thing you could do to help minimize the cost is to ask everyone what they are planning on scrapbooking. And you can order online from scrapbook.com these different kits. So as an example, I have this scrapbook kit here. It is a kind of like homemade vintage baking themed kit. It comes with paper, stickers, little cardstock ephemera, I think is what it's called. So lots of different little things. So baking one. I also have a national parks themed one. I have pickleball, like a very girly pink and green pickleball kit. They make a ton of different themed kits, so you could ask guests to browse scrapbook.com and see if there's a specific kit they would like to use kind of based on their photos. And you could do like a big group order that way of the scrapbooks and of like the kits and the tapes and things. So it's a bit more like organized and contained. But if you are someone who has a ton of scrapbooking stuff, you could then like have everyone over and just tell them to bring photos. If you have a Cricut, people can bring photos and like print stuff out that way. But scrapbooking is a bit more involved than junk journaling, I guess. And I think it's a bit more of a commitment on your end and in like the making of a scrapbook as well. So my second idea is jewelry making or beading. I'll put some photos on the screen of some projects that I made over the summer. I had such a fun time doing this. I think I ordered beads from Fire Mountain Gems and Amazon, and you can use anything. You could use like fancy, more gemstone-y beads. You could use glass beads, plastic beads, charms. There are a ton of different types of beads you can buy and use. And then all you really need are, aside from beads, all you really need are either like beading wire or like the beading elastic, the clasps, the crimps, these like bead crimps that kind of hold, I don't know what they do. They like hold it together so it doesn't fall apart. Some jump rings, and the little pliers. And I think it'd be so cute. You could set up like a little station for everyone where you could put the little gray jewelry beading trays at each spot with a few pliers kind of scattered throughout and little like bowls or cups of beads all over the table. This is something I used to do growing up as a kid. We had a like bead jewelry making store not too far from my house growing up, and I loved going there. I'm not sure if this was like a local thing or if it was across the country, but I loved doing it, and I think it would be really fun to make some jewelry with friends. You could make friendship bracelets, you could get everyone matching charms, and you could all put the charm on like your bracelet or your necklace. And I think it's great for people who are like crafty and creative, but not like glue and scissors crafty creative. So that is my second idea. My next idea is flower arranging. I think this is also great for people who are creative or like being creative but aren't necessarily like the glue and scissors types of creative people. My idea for floral arranging is that you could go to the thrift store or the flea market and buy different vessels that guests can choose from, or you could ask them to bring their own vessel. And for flowers, I think Trader Joe's is great. I got these tulips here at Trader Joe's, I think for like $7 for, I don't even know how many are in there, but like, I think it's a great deal. So you could go to Trader Joe's and buy a bunch of flowers. You could also ask everyone to bring 2 bunches of flowers themselves. So then there's a different choice and the cost is offset a little bit and spread out amongst the group. As the host, if I was asking everyone to bring flowers, I would probably still buy like 5 or 6 bunches myself just as backup, maybe some greenery, just so there's like a lot that people can use to fill out their vases. And I would just keep flowers in like those big Home Depot bucket things, like fill them with water and stick flowers in those, so then people could go around and pick as they please, pick what they would like to use. Other supplies you might want to consider having around are obviously scissors to cut the flowers, chicken wire that you can kind of like ball up and put in the vessels to help arrange the flowers better, or those florist frogs, you can get those on Amazon pretty cheaply. And something I also might do if I were hosting is to print some inspo pics of different arrangements that seem feasible for us to do at home as non-professional florists, or maybe as a group watch like a 15 or 20 minute floral arranging video, so you could maybe learn some tips and tricks from a pro. I think this could be super cute to do, especially in spring, like April or May, when we do have all of these beautiful flowers at our disposal and available to us. I think it would just be such like a fun, lovely little activity. And I also envision it more of like a tea party, I guess, like with tea and little cakes and cookies and like kind of cute little picky things, like just a very girly afternoon is kind of how I envision that one. My next idea is very 70s. Or at least in my mind, it's very 70s. I was not alive in the 70s. And that is Mod Podge or decoupage. I used to love doing this as a kid. Again, like so much fun. Give me a paper box and some tissue or like patterned napkin and some Mod Podge, and I was a happy camper. As a kid, I used a lot of napkins for my Mod Podge, right? M-O-D, Mod Podge. I used a lot of napkins as a kid for Mod Podge, and there are so many beautiful napkins available right now. Every time I go to, we have this kind of, I don't know what you would call it, hardware home goods store right around the corner from my apartment. Every time I go there, they have so many gorgeous napkins. I want to buy them all the time, and they're not that expensive. It's maybe $5 for like a decent pack of cocktail-sized napkins. I'd probably buy like 10 packs of patterned napkins, Mod Podge, those little foam paintbrushes, and I don't know, like a wax paper. Put wax paper down on the table to not get it everywhere. But there are so many cute things you can Mod Podge. I see all over Pinterest all the time little Mod Podge, like seashells or oyster shells. Like the inside of it is decorated, and how cute would that be on a nightstand to put like your ring in at night, or earrings if you forgot to take them off, or I don't know, what, like a little trinket tray. I don't know what else I would put in them, but I think that'd be so, so cute. But there are a ton of things you could Mod Podge. You could buy wooden Easter eggs, Mod Podge those. You could buy wooden tissue box covers, Mod Podge that. Oh, that would be so cute. I think that'd be cute if you had like a really nice patterned napkin that you were using, like a nice Mod Podge tissue cover box, a bunch of different things. I think you could just go to the craft store, go to Michael's, go to like the wood cardboard box section and just buy whatever you see that is cute. I think there are a ton of fun things to Mod Podge. Have I said Mod Podge enough? I don't know. But anyways, my next idea is cookie or cupcake decorating. I think you could just bake some like plain cupcakes, don't decorate them obviously, or plain cookies, and set them out for everyone. I think this would be really fun to do as a group. It is pretty interactive, and if they don't turn out well, like who cares? You guys eat cookies and cupcakes. I think for this, maybe you'd also want to watch a few videos as a group to learn how to decorate or use like the piping bags, or you could just like decorate them plain. At Christmas, my family always decorates sugar cookies. I'm sure many of your families do too. So you could just do it like that, where you just have like the bowls of icing out with spoons and knives and different things, and just like go for it with sprinkles, whatever, who cares? Just like a fun night together. At the end of the night, everyone leaves with some cookies or cupcakes, which who doesn't want cookies or cupcakes? Like I do. I'd be so happy to just spend a night decorating a few cookies and cupcakes and then like come home with some sweet treats for later. So then my next idea I think is the messiest, which is painting. And this isn't like watercolor, acrylic, paint on paper, or canvas. I think painting fun things. I'm thinking painting wine glasses, painting candles, painting, I've seen on Pinterest all these painted wooden hairbrushes. That would be so cute. I would love a little painted wooden hairbrush. Painting wooden picture frames and like putting a picture, everyone brings a picture to put in their frame, and you can paint the picture frames together. Or maybe even like paint a plate at home. I don't know if Color Me Mine does that or not, but if they do, I think that could also be fun. If you could like buy the unpainted ceramic piece, paint it, and then send it out somewhere to have it fired, and they like could ship it back to you. So that kind of breaks my rule of everyone leaving with something they made, but I do think that could be really fun. So yeah, painting, I think just like painting anything, honestly, but like more little like girly painting things, not like let's watercolor. I mean, you could, if you like to watercolor and you know, and your friends like to watercolor, you could definitely have a watercolor night. Like, why not? If you like that, do that. But I'm thinking more so painting just like different objects. At Easter, Something I did last Easter that I really liked that I want to do again this year is we had wooden Easter eggs and we painted them and put them in a little bowl. If I can find a picture of any of them, I will post it, show it. But I painted a carrot on one and some tulips on another, and that was a really fun little activity that was kind of mindless and you just do while chatting with who you're with. The next idea is also kind of broad and vague like that, which is embroidery. There are so many types of embroidery. So you could do like regular embroidery, you can do bead embroidery, you can embroider on felt, on fabric, on all these different things. Personally, I think bead embroidery could be the most fun. Again, I think you might want to watch a tutorial. Everyone could watch a tutorial before they get to your house. But just again, set out like little glass beads on trinket trays. Everyone could bring what they want to embroider on. So that could be a white t-shirt, that could be a canvas tote bag, that could be, I don't know what else, a pillowcase maybe. I don't know what you'd want to bead embroider on, but whatever you want to bead embroider on, bring it. And all you would need is like the thread, the beads, the needles, maybe the hoops, maybe get a few hoops, one for each person, and just have fun. Oh, fabric markers. You also might want fabric markers. I don't know. Don't listen to me on this. I've never bead embroidered before. I would love to. So definitely, obviously, like look up a list of what you might need for this. But my last activity is kind of related back to my first one. It's related back to the scrapbooking junk journaling, and that is to make a friendship recipe book. So everyone would bring with them their recipe, like instructions and ingredient list, their cooked recipe so everyone could enjoy and eat it, and little junk journaly decorative items that kind of go with the theme of what they made. So if you are doing blueberry muffins, you could bring little cutouts of different muffins, maybe a muffin wrapper, a little doily, a blue gingham pattern, little blueberry cutout stickers, I don't know, like different things that kind of go with the recipe you're bringing, if that makes sense. And then everyone will take a piece of blank paper and they can write out the recipe however they want and decorate the pages and kind of make it like a junk journal but a recipe book at the same time, if that makes sense. I've seen pictures of this on Pinterest and I think it's so cute, and I think it'd be so fun to have some of your like good girlfriends recipes that you junk journaled together. And it could be like a growing thing you do. You get a recipe from your mom, your grandma, your uncle, like, you know, random people. You can junk journal it and have this recipe book of recipes that are from people you love. So that is my last like no knowledge needed idea. I am really torn between the junk journal / scrapbook, floral arranging, and the recipe junk journal idea for my first girlfriend hobby night. So I still have to have a little think, but right now I'm feeling really excited about the recipe book idea. So that might be my first one. We will see. I will let you know when I plan it and like decide. I do have a few ideas in case you have a friend group that has like a shared hobby. And it kind of works for any of them. So if you have a needlepoint group, a knitting group, a crochet group, a cross stitch group, I don't know what, anything, I think it would be super, super fun to all cast on or start the same project together. So I knit and needlepoint a lot, so I'll give an example for each. So for knitting, I think it could be really nice if everyone decides, okay, let's all cast on the Sophie scarf one night. Everyone brings their yarn and their needles that they need and you cast it on. It is a pretty simple project, so you can sit there and chat while you do it, and then you'll all have Sophie scarves that you started together. I think that could be really cute. Needlepointing, you could all buy and start the same canvas, or another fun thing with needlepointing you could do is you could have a canvas painting night. You could all paint a design on the canvas. People just might need to come with like a Stitchly or Stitch Fiddle design that they made themselves. And then you have a canvas that you painted with your friends and you've got some nice memories attached to it. And my last idea is just kind of put all the craft stuff you have on the table and just free for all. People can do whatever they want. That is something I have absolutely considered. I have so much random craft hobby things. I have scrapbooking, I have beads, I have like lino cut ink printing. That's another one you could do, but that is a little messy with the ink. It can stain your clothes and your hands. But you could do that. You could do, I've got painting things. Like, I have pom-poms and pipe cleaners and all these random things. Just like put it all on the table and people can make whatever they want to make. So of course that is always an option as well. I think the whole point is just to spend time with friends doing something a little different that maybe isn't like going out to dinner. So those are all of my ideas. I would love to know if you have any other ideas, or if you've ever hosted your friends over for a like craft hobby night. What did you do? How did it go? Do you have any tips? I've never done this before and I'm really looking forward to it. So all advice is welcome. And yeah, I think that is everything. So thank you so much for watching and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.